morning. This morning we're going to take a minute and we're going to look at a Hopper 16 pill. It's a little interesting. I like the choke system. That's cool. Here's what we got going on. Burnt. 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 Really burnt. Not burnt. This is interesting. The construction of this amp is, well, good. It's really good. Good job, Nate. I dig it, son. You're doing good. Got to figure out why the RF don't want to come out of cabinet. Because it is not wanting to go out. So showing up here. I don't know if we have any pop pills yet. Haven't even gotten that far. I just popped the lid, taking a look. Little doorknob action on the input. A little bit of passive capacitance tune here. Doorknob on the output. Sorry, input output. Got a little bit of tuning capacitor here. I like the coax going down underneath the board. For the input, that's kind of hot. Wonder where you got that idea. Looks good, Nate. But RF don't want to come out. The weird thing is normally it'll show up over here as heat, and these resistors over here. So we're going to plug this in. We're going to like short key it with low power, and we're going to watch this with the FLIR, and I want to see what's going on with the spectrum analyzer. I want to see what kind of power it's making where. And let's see if we can figure this mystery out together. All right, so the mystery deepens. Let's go over here. The on-off indicator LED is burned out, by the way. So I got the 1000 watt slug and peak, not that that's going to matter for this test. 1000 and average and a 5 watt slug reading forward. So we're going to take our 2950. We're going to put 1 watt in this. That's 1 watt going forward. Let's turn on the 16 pill. Interesting. Okay, so 1 watt gets it to latch. All right. I'll put about 4.5 watts in it. And we're getting a 0.5 watt out. Yeah, let me redo that test so you guys understand what I'm talking about. Amp is off. We're putting a 4 watt dead key into the amp. We're getting a 0.5 watt back, or 0.5 watt out. So I turn the amp on. 4 watts going in is making a 0.5 watt coming out. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to look at this meter up here. What this is telling us is with our 4 watts going in, we're getting 1.5 watts back. So, like an input SWR of 5. That's how that'd work out. I want to check these. This is what I want to check. But they don't all normally devaluate at one time. Normally it's like 1 or maybe 2 or maybe... What that test tells me is that the RF that's going in, it's getting snubbed out. Okay, the RF is getting... Something in the circuit is so out of balance that it's pushing most of the rectified RF back, and we're seeing it as a high input SWR. So it's not that we need to adjust anything here, I don't believe. And the tuning capacitors would make sense that they're at either the wrong value or they're just devalued. that's normally not the case. But that would make sense, because then we RF coupled, combined, and then we're hitting a roadblock here. So let's do this real fast. Combiner ring is not getting hot, or any of the balancing resistors. Let me lift this one. We'll use this one as our guinea pig. Let me get in here and lift this. We'll take a look at this one part. Well, I don't know here. Well, it's a Russian doorknob. It's supposed to be 100 puff. That's 102. This disc capacitor is fine. I freaking love this tool. This screw starter. I love this one. And I love this one. And I love this one. But the one that I got from my fan out there, my friend, I love the most. This is a really neat one. This is another one for flat blade screwdrivers. For flat blades. Do a whole video on it some other day. Anyhow, back on topic. That cap is okay. Now, I could almost get behind the theory. I was told that the customer was told that let's see, how do I put this? I was told that the customer got told by Nate that he should probably check his SWR, because the only time these ever burn up is when the SWR goes bad. I could get behind that, brother Nate. The problem is none of these are bad. And I shouldn't even really make that statement yet, because I got to talk with the customer and make sure he didn't replace these, because a couple of these are kind of cockeyed and the legs aren't perfect. And I'm looking at what you got going on here, Nate, and some pretty nice, neat craftsmanship. So, yeah. Anywho, let me get this hook back up. Let's put a little bit more power into it, and I want to see what happens here. Remember, y'all, Nate's my friend. Oh, Hopper, he's my friend and a student. And he's a good peer of mine. I got nothing but love for this guy, so don't be running over there wasting your childish breath going, oh my God, you see the video where BBI was talking shit about you? No, not happening. I'm just trying to understand the problem here. Hello. Hello. Wants to take off. Really does. Hello. Audio. Alright, we're gonna have to drive this up a little bit more. Bring me the derail. Bring on the 955. even on the front of the striker, it's an infinite input SWR. I wonder. Wow. That one's heating. Spectrum does not look too hot. Makes sense with that much input SWR. I wonder if this thing went into some form of oscillation at some point. So we can get this input SWR to come down a little bit. That's better. Huh. Interesting. Okay, let's look at this here. Let's go up here and let's take a look at this. Now what I'm going to adjust is this input tube. We're going to take it from here, where it was roughly about right there. And let's go up here and let's take a look. Now we got to look at the bird meter and reflect. That's this one here. And then we're going to look at the input meter on a striker. Pretty high. Yeah, SWR3 hit 1, 2, going up to about 5. So let me slide this tube out a little bit. And come on, slide out. There we go. Hello, audio. And our output power just went up through the roof. Imagine that. Hello. Pretty stable. Hello, audio. This is at 2 bars, and that's down to half watt falling back. So now, if I come over here, and let's tweak this just a little bit. Hello, audio. All right, and then I'll play with this for a second. Hello, audio. Hello. Now we're styling with gasoline. So let's slide this out just a scooch more. Hello, audio. I'm liking that a lot. That's making me happier. Hello, audio. Okay, let me show you what I adjusted here. The tuning tube's all the way maxed out, which kind of makes me question the doorknob. But I get it. I understand why it's there. It's dual purpose. It bolsters this tuning tube, but it also adds support, which I like that. And we had to slide this out by almost an inch. When we did that, our peak power over here came way up. 1,000 watt scale, of course. Hello, audio. So now we're up to 1,000,000. So let's turn the amp off. If you guys can remember, we were putting about 4 in it, 4.5 in it, right about there. And we're getting 0.5 watt out. Dramatic difference. Right? Right. Oh, now the LED started working on the display. Okay, well, we got 2 options. I can remove the tuning tube, unsolder to the screen wire, pull it out, cut the tuning tube down, rewrap it in the Teflon and put it back together. Or I can change out the doorknob to get ourselves a little bit closer in resonance. Decisions. I think the first thing I want to check is where are we at with our heating over here. Oh yeah. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Hello. That resistor's getting ungodly warm. But our balance resistors are cold. These here. So just a small, simple tuning issue then. I bet it went into oscillation and that's why these fried. And it might have had something to do with the fact this tube wasn't locked. Okay. So let's see, I gotta put this back on 1X. So this is a 100 puff doorknob. We're gonna set it aside. I replaced it with a 50 puff doorknob and retuned. Didn't cut the capacitance tube at all, just pulled 50 puff out of this doorknob. And boy, this is working a lot better. Let's start up here. Let me lock this down. So nothing's changed. We boosted the voltage way up. I'm up to 16.7 here. Hello, audio. See how it's dropping back a little bit? So watch this here and watch up here. Hello. It's 1/10 of a watt worth of input reflect. Okay, so now remember before, sorry y'all, tired this morning. Remember before it would barely do 1,000 watts, right? Gone, okay? Remember where it was keying? Wasn't making hardly any power with 1 watt going in. So let's drop this down to a watt. Now the relay's not chattering when we're down at a watt. See the difference? Half a watt, now we're up to almost full 5 watts with 1 watt in. So we'll flip this around and let's see, we're at 15 volts, yeah? Okay. Hello, audio. So now we're getting 800 bird. Hello, 600 bird, and well over 1,000 watts peak. So let's flip that up to 2X. So now when the needle runs all the way to the corner, it's 2,000 watts. And you guys that have watched my videos before, you know what I'm going to say next. That big hash mark there is 1,000 watts. Over here is 2. So the next hash is going to be 12, 14, 16, 18, and then 2,000 watts. So with 125 watts of drive, hello, we're getting 2,000 watts peak out of it. Hello, around 600 bird, which is not teabag. The input reflect is where we want it. We want it to sit just a hair high and then fall back, because what it's wanting is more input drive, in all fairness. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's bump this just a hair. I'm adjusting the tuning tube here. Hello. Hello. 1, 2. Hello. 1, 2. Beautiful. Okay, let's hook the 2-pill up to it. We should get roughly around 3,000 watts. If we get over 3,000 watts with a 2-pill hitting it, I know that we're good to walk away and call this a win. Nothing in here is heating now. This resistor, the heat fell out of it. I replaced these 4 resistors. None of these are heating. All of those issues are gone. I just got off the phone with Nate, and we were talking about this, and I think we're kind of in agreement that this tuning tube here moved a little bit in the process of things. It might have gotten moved or whatever. This wasn't locked down, and we feel that it fell into some form of oscillation. RF was just going around in a circle, and it fried these 4. So yeah, let me hook up the 2-pill and let's go from there. Okie doke. Now we got the 2-pill in the equation over here. And we're going to use the derail striker once again. I got the camera set way back from the amplifier, so hopefully we don't get in the camera and make it squeal too awful bad. Okay, so right now, this is a 1X, so it's 1,000 watts. This is what we're reading in peak. I want to show you what we're going to put in this for drive. We are going to significantly run into the wall, per se. This is where we start entering into the zone where, you know, you get really cool performance with 120 watts, 150 watts worth of drive. And then it's like a giant jump, and then it slowly peaks up after that. So it's 600 watts of drive. We should see roughly around 3,000 watts. Hold on, let me check one more thing. All right, I wanted to double check my input tune and double check the dead key on the 2-pill. So this is just the 2-pill now. This is with 1 watt driving to about 125 watts into the 2-pill. At 0 and 2. Oh, we're up on 5X, which is where we're going to end up. Okay, at 0 and 2. Making about 580 watts worth of drive. Now we're going to go down to 5X. And on the 5X scale, we're reading this middle scale, so 10's 1,000, 20 is 2,000, 30 is 3,000, and so on. So let's go ahead, we'll kick on the 16-pill. And remember, like I said, if we hit around 3,000 watts, remember the tin is off the amplifier here. So I'm gonna get a little bit of mic squeal. But if we hit around 3,000 watts peak, we're good. We're gonna walk away with a smile on our face and call it a day. Because I know that we can hit it with a 4-pill and get a little bit more out of it. But 3,000 watts with about 500 watts of drive, not too bad. Audio. 3,000 watts. Audio. All right. Now I've keyed this entirely too much with the lid off and no fans. So I need to stop for a minute, or otherwise I'm going to be sacrificing my friend's precious transistors, which I'm not in the business of doing. So now we're going to put some capped on tape on this, and we're going to lock it down so it can't move. And then we're going to put the lid on it, and we're going to let some air move across the heatsink and let it cool down. Just all ready to put the tin back on, and I'm like, wait a minute. I did squirt some clear on this to make sure it'll never corrode, because where this amplifier is from, it's kind of a moisturous environment. And we don't like our pretty copper to turn rainforest green. So we are going to utilize some of this PIMNUT technology here. We're going to fix it so we can put screws in all the holes. Yeah. That was tough. Okay, now let's put the lid on. Sorry. Real quick, last little detail. I plugged the hole. I made it so that this couldn't fall out. So I put a metal insert in here. Plugged the hole, made it look all pretty for you. I'm also going to put a label on the back so you know what is antenna and what's relay. You know, just a small shit. Let's see, is there a label on the front of this to say what the switches are? No. So for the record, this one's on off. By the way, fixed the cold solder joint on the LED. And this is relay lockout, which just locks the relay. So I'll put labels up here too. I don't know, I'm just kind of picky about that kind of thing. It's got to have a label. It's got to have a thing, so. Okay, oh, and I cleaned your relay connections just to make sure that they're good. I think that's it. All right, let's drop the lid on it. Well, we're done, boys and girls. We are done. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Radio. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Little 1, 2. This thing's working fine. Brother, I don't think you're going to have any more problems with it. Now, gentlemen, this was RO number 24. 16 pill, custom built hopper, X-Force repurposed cabinet. Yeah, done and in the annals books. I'm going to pack it up. It's going back home today. I am awash in cardboard over here. I'm going to have a shop reset day. Probably have to do that towards the end of this week. But I want to give a big shout out to Penna, XS, Siglant, McMahon, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics. A giant awesome shout out to all the Patreons. Whew. It's been a long day so far. I'm just getting started. Not this, I got a bunch of other stuff going on too. So on that note, gentlemen, I'm going to run. I appreciate every single one of you out there in YouTube land, because let's face it, I don't get to be here without all of you. I'll see you. Click, click.